Hi, so I'm going to say a few words about what I think is like the first principle of tonality or tonal fluency, tonal sense. In another video that I just made very recently, I talked about rhythm and letting go. And the thing about rhythm, whenever I talk about rhythm and groove, I am talking about the fundamental thing in music. Rhythm comes first, as my first rather marvellous piano teacher Anna Pounder used to always say. So rhythm comes first. Rhythm's the most important thing. Rhythm gives us our first sense of musical meaning, that kind of storytelling thing I talk about, or poetry. So if I'm going da da dee da 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 dee da 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 dee da da da, it's just a groove, it's just a beat, but you can sense in the way I'm saying it has this storytelling quality, a kind of syntax, a kind of unfolding meaning that's happening. And this is the first principle of musical meaning. Now, I'm obviously inflecting my voice. You can hear me moving my voice around, changing pitch. So there's an element of tonality. There's no rules to what that tonality does. I could just as easily go da da dee da dee da dee da as da da dee da 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 dee da. Or I could go da da dee da 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 dee da. You can do anything. So there's no rules about what your tonal choices are, in terms of the groove. The groove is the groove. Rhythm is separate, if you like, from tonality. They do different things, but they're separate but connected. It's a very sort of Zen idea, very important to me, that they are very much one, but very much two. They're two separate things. They work independently, and yet they don't work independently. Rhythm works independently. Tonality works through rhythm first and foremost. So that initial sense that the groove gives you, that storytelling, that comes first, and then the tonal changes are pinned to that, and that produces sense. If I play a chord sequence, first and foremost, you're actually hearing a groove. But obviously it's not just rhythm, because you can't just play anything and play it rhythmically. Well, you can. It doesn't sound terrible, actually, but it doesn't sound tonal. So if I go, even if I play proper chords and I go, I'm not caring enough about what my choices are. I'm not meaning that sound. I'm not intending that sound. And fluency obviously means that the sounds that I play, the tonal sounds that I play, for me, tonality and harmony harmony is the basis of tonality. I'll say that. That's what I'm talking about. Harmony comes first, and these harmonic blocks, these super chords that go right across the keyboard, the major and minor blocks, they're the fundamental of tonality. So fluency means that when I play something tonal, something that has some harmonic basis to it, the sound that I make is the sound I want to say spontaneously, instantly, without working out, just like the words come. So as I'm playing C minor, F minor, G, E, A minor, B, E, F. Those harmonies, those chords, are those tonal blocks, as I would call them. They're the ones I want to say. Why do I want to say them? What's going on? What's the principle of tonality that works alongside the rhythm to create more musical sense? Well, it's a very simple one, but it becomes very complex, very subtle, but it's a very simple binary idea. And it is tension and resolution. No reference to any no longer available Australian soap operas. It's the principle of home and away. You're either home or you're away. But then there are homes and aways within the homes and aways, if you see what I mean. So, for example, within a harmonic block, say a C major harmonic block, C, E and G, C, E, G. So that simple harmonic block that we all know, you've got a home, the root, C, and then you've got two aways. And I would think the most away, The most resolved sound is the C. The least resolved sound is probably the E that makes it major. So if we start with the fifth, and then the third. But the point I'm trying to make is that there is a sort of, I don't like the word hierarchy. There's no hierarchy there for me. There's just a home or the root and two aways, that one, and also the major sounding, that one. Or you could say, if I do a minor one, there's a home, that one again, and the minor sounding. So that's within the block. There's a kind of tonal home and away system at play that makes the harmony. If I play two blocks, if I do this one, C minor and G minor. Now there isn't any, how can I put it, like written in stone rule that says one of those is always home and one of them's away, because that's not true. And this is very important. It's very important. C minor is not always home and G minor away. It's what you decide. You as the, it's a bit like context, isn't it, in speech? It's. I could say to you, there were three of them. You know what I mean? I'm telling you that there were three of them. Or I could say, there were three of them. And now I don't sound like that I'm saying there were three of them. I sound like I'm asking you if there were. There may have been four of them or five of them. I don't know. So obviously the same words have a different, totally different meaning. And this is how tonality works. Tonality doesn't always have the same meaning. It depends. It's always contextual. So it's like, it's kind of logic. It's like saying, if this is home, then this is away. That's home again. I'm still home. Now I'm away. Now I'm going to go away to the G minor block and back home to the C minor block. Back away again and back home. It doesn't have to be that way around. I could make G minor home. So how do we do that? It's a very subtle thing, isn't it? It's a bit like what I just did. There are three of them. That statement sounds certain. It sounds like home. It sounds resolved. That's the word. It's resolved. There are three of them. I'm resolved. I'm stating something. There were three of them? There were three of them? That's unresolved. So unresolved is something that we feel inside. Resolved is something that we feel inside. So I'm back there again, the place I always go. We have to let go. We have to come from our kind of our body and soul, particularly perhaps in tonality, our soul. We have to really feel it. We have to feel when we're playing something resolved, and we have to really feel when we're playing something unresolved. As I say, there are different degrees of tension and you know, unresolvedness, and different degrees of tonal center and resolvedness. But it's a matrix. You know, it's like everything we hear works together within a piece that uses auxiliary notes. They're the notes that are in the diatonic block. A diatonic block is like the scale, like 7 notes. So in the C minor block, you've got the root, the third and the fifth. But if I play the sixth, it creates tension and wants to resolve. It doesn't create as much tension as moving to the other block, which is away. That's more unresolved. So there is, as I say, it's like home and away within home and away. We talk about home from home. It's a bit like that. Sometimes there's a home from home, sometimes there's away from away. Do you see what I mean? If I go on holiday somewhere and then I decide to go on a trip whilst I'm on holiday, I've gone away from where I am away. Yeah? It's degrees. It's the way it works. It's like a matrix. But that first principle, we have to practice it as well, as I say. It's something we have to intend and feel for ourselves. Because like I said, that was C and G minor. G minor can be home and C minor away. I'll prove it. This is home. This is away. That's home. Away. Home. Away. Now, how does it work? I don't really know. I like things that I don't know how they work. I like awe and wonder. I like to be in a state of wonder. I like knowing things as well. I mean, I do read a lot of popular science books, so I do like certainty, but I do also like uncertainty. I don't really know how that works, but I know it does. I know when I'm saying home, when I'm saying a statement, when I'm saying there are three of them. I also know when it's unresolved and it has tension and it's moving away. There are three of them. We feel that inside. It's a sense. And that inner sense of tension and resolution, or tonal center, home and away, that is the basis of tonality. And we all have that sense. If we didn't have that sense, music wouldn't make tonal sense to us in the first place. But we have to switch it on. So everything we play relates, even as I say, even within one C major block, you've got home, away, and a special away that makes it major or minor. C minor or C major, one note difference. C is still the root in both cases, so C is home. And then as you put all the different blocks together, as a kind of vocabulary of music, you have to learn how to put them together. There's still some rules. It's not like it's completely rule free, but you still decide what's home internally. You feel it. So this is why when you play, complex tonality, it still makes sense, because I'm still thinking of those terms. In those terms, I'm still thinking of home and homes from homes and homes from homes from homes and aways from aways and homes from aways and aways. It's all relating. So we can kind of wander around. This is how you modulate, change key and all this sort of thing, all those kind of theoretical ideas. And, we just decided, I'm going to set up camp here now. I'm going to be home here. So I ended up feeling quite as if I was going to set up camp here. But I could move. Now I'm here. So we can actually hear that principle at work. We're not necessarily very conscious of it, or maybe not conscious of it at all. But it is what we're really hearing. We're hearing tension and resolution. We're hearing ourselves being pulled away from home or pulled towards home. And some things are more resolved, and some things have more or less tension, more or less unresolved quality. So that's the first principle of tonality. It takes letting go. It takes being expressive. You have to express. So even if you're just practicing maybe a very simple rhythm pattern on two chords, you could do, C minor and G minor, like I was doing. You make a decision. You go, I'm home. It's like a statement. It's this. But what is it? It's this. But what is it? You see? And then it makes tonal sense. And it acts like glue, It acts like rocket fuel as well. You make more progress much more rapidly as a fluent musicianship when you mean what you're doing. In fact, it's essential in a way. You can't really be fluent if you don't mean what you're playing. That's the whole point. That's what fluency is, isn't it? It's kind of to do with instantness. It's to do with being able to do it spontaneously, in real time, instantly. But it's also to do with meaning. It's to do with meaning it. So it's that both those aspects are sort of central to what fluency is. So meaning it like that, just deciding that one is home, away, home, away, home. Making the story that we tell first and foremost through the rhythm, through the groove, making that story have tonality using this home and away principle massively important for developing fluency.